Hello all, and thank you for attending today's partner event. Most of you will know me, but for those of you who don't, my name is Jason Bolsey, and I'm the Regional Sales Manager for Eurasia. Today I'm going to be covering off the case management part of the event. So just to jump straight in, our case management platform, or CMS and eTracker, are the two advanced softwares that we have for case management tools. These are really designed to organise the vast volumes of information and evidence gathered during investigation by collating all of your case data, processes and reports within a single repository. So I'm going to go ahead and jump straight in and start with eTracker. eTracker is our version of case management, which is designed specifically for the management of exhibits. So from within here, you can create specific and custom forms in line with your organization's standard operating procedures using our form creator. You can also view exhibit statistics, including activities, total cases, active cases, and average turnarounds. Now, these are both items that we're going to cover off in a live demonstration in a moment and go through in a little more detail. Some of the other things that we can do here is export and review exhibit data and investigation findings within our report functionality. This is really to offer managers complete management oversight and control, manage and track investigators' workload and case progress. Lots of useful UI features for that, as well as metrics and so on. Throughout all of this, the investigator or the manager will be able to define and customize workflows to guide the investigating officers through your organization's tried and tested best practices. So the next part of this here is our investigative case management system. So this is a much larger system, and it goes beyond just the exhibit itself. This starts to introduce the entire case, where not each exhibit is necessarily a digital piece of media, for example, a phone, USB, or a hard drive. This is looking to introduce other items, interview documents, witness statements, CCTV, and all of that type of stuff. So it's all of your investigation data housed in one location. This enables the lead investigator, senior investigators, or management to track the progress of all of the investigations throughout the various workflows. This will allow for easy collaboration between investigators and management by merely sharing a link to a case. It's going to give your managers complete oversight as to everything that is going on. Assigning tasks is now a lot easier, and viewing and completing tasks throughout the cases is much clearer. This will also allow any colleagues, so other investigators or management, to review the work that is going on or pass certain elements of the investigation onto another investigator, overall reducing the time taken for any investigation. Okay, so I'm actually just going to go across and move over to the programs now. Right, so as I said, we are jumping into our exhibit tracker first. So what we're looking at here is our dashboard. From here, you can see the exhibits that you do have, any open tasks, reports, and insights there as well. Other things you can see here is just a quick view or jump into any of your exhibits and any of the tasks you have outstanding. So I'm just signed into the system administrator here, mainly just so I can show you guys the configuration options that we do have. Typically, as an end user or an investigator, you may have some limitations set by your administrator within your account, and one of those, well, primarily one of those would be what you can see. So typically, as an investigator, you would only see your cases or the cases that have been attributed to you, in a similar way to tasks. So I'll jump in and start off here. So for instance, our tasks here, as a systems administrator or a manager or a senior investigator, I'm then able to see all of these. But of course, this can be completely customized by the customer and the end user themselves. Whoever their senior manager or system administrator is going to be, they can control all of these settings. So from here within tasks, I'm just going to assume that I am Neil for a moment, and I'm then able to see all of the tasks which I've generated myself or my manager has delegated to me. So if we just take this case right here, or this exhibit, which is case 102, just a demo case, we can see any of the details relevant to that. No comments in here, but you do have the option to change that and edit this at any point. So if you do need to change the dates, for instance, there's been a sick day or there's a delay in a case, we can just push that back. I'm going to push it back here to Friday and change any of the other information as well, and so on. If we do need to change any tasks to another assignee because I'm tied up in another investigation, out of the office or anything like that, we can actually then change that over to, say, myself, and it's going to take me just one day, and I can go ahead and save that task, and it's now going to come under Jason as well. Okay, so that's just a quick introduction to the tasks. I'm just going to go back over to our home page. And now we're going to navigate into exhibits. So just show us very quickly our exhibit page. Now this isn't a well-used database. This is very much just a quick demo page setup. So we've only got a few exhibits in here. You can see we've got a couple: Android phone, and non-digital. So it's not only about digital evidence, your iPhones, Androids, USBs, or computers. We're also looking at non-digital evidence as well. So I'm going to just jump into this Android phone to start with. I'm not going to allocate it just now. I'm just going to jump in and view the exhibit. And very quickly, you can see a workflow is already in place. So this is one that we've just designed for the demonstration, which I will go into in a little more detail now. But as the investigator goes through each of these steps within the workflow, they would follow the step. Okay, so now that has been ticked, we're able to say that we have completed that job. Of course, you're going to go through and tick all the relevant boxes as you work through. Now, this is just a standard demo workflow we've created, so I'm not going to go into too much detail in this segment, but what I will show you in as we move through this is how we actually create those and how the customers can completely customize and create their own as well. So some of the bits we have here is the detail section, which does show the statistics. We're also able to see the reports in this section as well, any jobs, and also generated, which will cover your forms and entities. So within here, you can see I've actually added a form in already. So this is a change of location. So if we've had to move a piece of evidence for chain of custody purposes, you are going to be required by this SOP to fill in a change of location form. And of course, each customer is going to be slightly different, but they are able to completely customize these forms, which we will cover off in the case management section of this demonstration. So you can view the form I have already added in, and this is just some quick questions that we've added in, which cover off who is the officer moving the exhibit, what's the new location, the time of moving that, the previous location, and any further comments. You have the option of making those requirements, and this particular set is not, so I can save that without filling anything out, but the customer is able to completely lock that down. Okay, so I'm just going to go back, back into my exhibit, and I'm actually just going to add a new one with this very quickly. I'm just going to add a new exhibit just to show you guys what that will look like. So just go to add exhibit very quickly. I'm just going to give it a dummy reference for now. 1, 2, 3, 4, nothing too exciting. You then have the option of adding a category. So these are just some that we have made, of course, again, completely customizable. The customers can change this to their heart's desire. Non-digital, Android phone, Mac computer, and so on. I'm just going to go with iOS phone for now, and select a workflow which is made specifically for mobile phone examinations. Privacy I'm going to leave as high, and I'm not going to add any additional comments for now, but you do have the option to do that there. Other things you can add at this stage is the exhibit keyword. So if you have a set of keywords from the initial investigation, any interviews with the suspect, witnesses, victims, and so on, so you have a load of keywords that you would like to add in, so that when the investigator does get around to doing this exhibit, he already does have some keywords pre-done for them. Okay, investigating personnel. I'm going to add this to Neil's workflow, or his backlog, shall we say, and that will then appear in his case list. Okay, no forms to be added at the stage, but you do have the option to add the form there and then. Okay, submit, and I can now go ahead and view that exhibit, and you'll see very quickly we do now have that workflow pre-populated for us, and we can start that process. Okay, so that's the very quick fire session on eTracker. So I'm actually going to move across to our main case management now, where we're going to go through some of the differences there and show what case management also includes. So I'm just going to drag our case management across very quickly. I'm just going to get rid of this one and open our other case management and pull that across. So you can see initially there are, it's actually got a lot more data. The main differences here is this takes you a step further from exhibit tracking. We're no longer just looking at the exhibit itself. We of course are still looking at workflows, the oversight, the full management of all your staff, but this is then looking at the wider case itself. So not just digital evidence or digital devices, shall we say. This can include investigation reports, witness statements, CCTV from outside of this particular, say, phone or computer. This is anything that witnessed a crime. So that's what the case management is designed for. So to start with, we can go into our open investigations. Just jump in here very quickly. You see this has actually got a few more, and I'm going to start with one just up here, which is our So you'll be able to see the, well, very quickly, we do have that workflow as we did within eTracker. And you can actually see I've progressed a further step. So rather than being at the start, I've actually now at stage 2. So I've already completed those first steps. Something you will notice, which is different in from eTracker here, is we have a little play button. So this is really for time tracking. Now, a few different reasons, of course, you're going to want this for, is to keep track of how long your investigators are spending on certain tasks. If there's certain tasks that should really only take 5 minutes and they're taking an hour or two, then it may be something you want to pay closer attention to. Also, if your customer is using this as a business, then it's a way to track and compile the invoice at the end with accurate times, which are backed up and supported by the audit log as well. So you can just see at any point those there. So just pop back into this quickly. And we'll go back to time tracking once I have one actually running. So just this one here, list witnesses that need to be interviewed. So I'm just going to click go on that one there, and that's going to change over in a second once that time has started, and you can see that is now in progress. Okay, so I am going to just close that one down. It didn't take very long. I was very quick for my list. I had actually already done it. So just going to pause that one or stop that, and then I'm going to go ahead and complete that task. Okay, so what I'm going to go ahead now and do is close this task off. If we click this button here, it's just going to tell us there is still a task that needs to be completed. So within your managed workflow, it's always going to tell your investigators if they're going off a little bit to the side, or if there's something they have missed out on. So that was just a nice little reminder just to tell me I need to complete my task at the bottom. And we can see the task details. So I'm just going to go ahead and say completed. At any stage I can, of course, add comments during there and the completed tasks. No need to add any for this particular job, and I should just go ahead and save that task. And that's all done for us there, so I can close that notification out. And then we can go on through some of the other steps. So that's just how you would activate the workflow, manage it, and fill it in as you go along. As soon as you get to the bottom, it's then going to give you an overall prompt, which you can OK, and then you move through the final stages as well. Okay, so over to our exhibits. This is slightly different to eTracker. E-tracker is more about the individual exhibits. Here, as the case, the overarching case, you can have multiple exhibits in one case similar to the Detego. So right now we are in the overall case, and we can go into each individual exhibit themselves. So you see we've got two here. So we've got a non-digital, which could be our witness statement, CCTV, and so on. And then we've got an actual Android phone as well. At any stage, we can, of course, add an exhibit in, similar to how we did an e-tracker. Now, of course, this is all customizable, especially when we get down to the form section. So we've already seen that, so I'm not going to go into too much detail at this stage. Any case data and overall time tracking is up here as well. Okay, so some of the bits we didn't cross off while we were in the e-tracker, which I'm just going to cover off now, is insights. Okay, so this is going to give us a nice overview of all of our cases and the statistics surrounding that. Now, it's going to take a moment to load, depending on how many cases you do have and what filters you do have in place. But from here, we can see up here at the top, overall activity, total cases, active cases, and average turnaround. Now, I haven't closed any of these cases, so unfortunately my turnaround looks pretty bad, but you can filter on any of these as well. Okay, if you want to be a little bit more specific. Okay. Now, into our form creator and workflow creator. So that's something we see in both eTracker and case management. Both are customized in the same way and through the same section. So form creator is where we're able to create virtually anything we want to that we'd want our investigators to have to fill in. So you can see we've got a whole load that we have already created here. You can edit any of these or any of the ones that you have made. So we've got interview witness form, and you've got the construct of the form here. You've got question 1, question 2, and so on. Okay. If of course you want to make your own, I'm just going to go ahead and do add new form, and I'm just going to put this as a new statement. And although we do already have that one, I'm just going to use this one anyway, and add a description, what the question is going to be, any text related. So this is going to be how you present the question. So whether it's plain text, a checkbox, an integer image upload, and you can have multiple questions per form. So it may be that the first one is text related, second is text box, and the third one is a file or image upload. Very easy just to add the next question, title your question, and move through that process. Then of course submit, and that's going to save to your list of forms. Right. Next part of that is your workflow creator. So from within here, you have your customization settings for your workflows. Very similar to how we create the form. You create your title, a description, and any steps related to that as well. Okay, I'm not going to go into too much detail in this, as we do have a very short amount of time for case management, but this is something your salesperson or your contact here, MCMS, can go through in more detail with you. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to drop them into the comment box now, and we have got some time at the end that we can't answer them. But other than that, as I say, we can set up some one-on-one demos to go through anything in more detail.